right, greetings, dear Gemini. That's you guys over here. This is Tarot Lumination, and it is your February 2019 mini generic love and relationship report. You know the routine. Watch your sun, moon, rising. Some people even watch for their Venus sign. Yep, it's true. Now, cards are already well shuffled in advance, and we're going to get back to that in a moment. I'd like to invite you, first of all, to check out the Astro reports for February 29. It's 2019. It's a whole other playlist, and we will not be using that much in this report here. I'll come back to this in a moment. Before we get into the cards themselves, I want to give you an overview of the spread that we use here. I know. This should be in an art gallery. And it's my way. It's a visual way, hopefully, to try and explain the Tarot Lumination Crucible spread, because maybe some people don't agree or understand. But the whole idea with the crucible is that a crucible is a structure. It is a bowl. It's a very incredibly durable bowl that is designed to withstand intense alchemical pressures that happens in laboratories. So it's the same thing with a human relationship, which is very much like a laboratory. And the question is, are you aware of that? Because you guys own this, whether you know it or not. So the whole idea is, instead of living like this, like in 3 dimensions, we can expand everything and go up to multi-dimensional experience of relationship and understand for you, the other, and a third entity, the relationship itself. This is a growing, living thing. And you guys together own the whole thing. And just like you radiate energy, they radiate energy. The relationship radiates energy too, just like a living thing, okay? So we have to be fully conscious of that. There's you, the other, deep in you, deep in the other, and the core over here. So what is the nature? What are the legs like on this little bowl? Out here is the weather. What are you radiating? What is impacting you in the relationship? You know, energy in, energy out, energy out, energy in, that kind of thing. Whew, I hope that makes sense. All right, cards are already well shuffled in advance. Like I said, no jumpers, no flyers, no oracles, no reversals. There's just not enough time and room the way it works here at Tarot Lumination. I'm so happy that you're here. If you need to get into this more deeply, you know where to come. Check out all the links in the description box below. And of course, thank you so much for all your subscribes and likes and comments. And please consider becoming a member. That is the most profoundly effective and valuable way that you can say thank you for Tarot Lumination. Okay, check the links below. And we're going to do it now. All right, thank you for your patience in the little preamble here. Excuse me, no flyers. I know you saw that. Please, you can, I know there's going to be comments about it, but I don't. I'm not factoring that into the reading, okay? All right. Now, with February, it's a very, I see as a very volatile month. A lot of shifting and changing going on. It's very lopsided. I'm highly recommending people listen to that little prayer that I made up. My dear and only feet, I pray, carry me safely through the day, because it's very wobbly, and sometimes it's only the moon that will give us a sense of balance. But that's very, very fleeting on that point. The thing that I will refer to here on the Tarot Lumination Astro Doodle is the lunar transit. I want to point out, towards the 26th of the month, please pay attention. Moon is in Sagittarius around the same time with Jupiter in Sagittarius in your 7th house of relationship. The other hot spots are going to be in the middle of the month when you have the full moon, okay? Remember, Aquarius season is sweet for Gemini, but it flips to Pisces in the middle of the month, which is a little more challenging for Geminis, all right? So it's going to be wobbly. I'm just letting you know, all right? So Gemini, you know what to do from here. Invite your invisible friends. Make this a team effort, because that's what we do here at Tarot Lumination. Tarot Lumination is not working alone. Let's put it that way. All right, here we go. Okay, cards are good now. Cards are good. So let's bless this deck. Bless every single card in the deck. Bless Terra Illumination. Bless the channel. Bless you, Geminis. This deck has done thousands of readings, literally, and the deck is still going strong. Okay, here we go. Onward for Gemini. What are you radiating? Okay, think of the laws of attraction. Singles, you can even watch this video if you want, if you understand and accept the laws of attraction. What are you radiating into the universe? What is being bounced back to you by the laws of reflection? Okay, over here. That could be this energy here, like what if? Here's the significant other, deep inside of you, deep inside of the other, and at the core, the relationship itself. And what is being fermented in this relationship? What is being nurtured and grown, either consciously or unconsciously? And out here, environmental influences, circumstantial conditions, call it the weather. So I'm hoping, before I pull any cards open, can you see the correlation between this doodle? Okay, and the way the cards are laid out. Okay, say no more. Okay, let's start. Let's have a look. So with the Six of Swords here, my feeling is that this month is going to be kind of weird and choppy. I feel it's going to be kind of half and half. It'll start out sort of sweet and simple and nice with the new moon in Aquarius for you, okay, up in your ninth house of awareness and spiritual expansion, seeing bigger and broader horizons, which may literally tempt you and prompt you to seek bigger and broader horizons that would translate for you as more peace, more harmony, and leaving behind the emotional goop and drama that you might not like. Okay, a lot of people are like that. They don't want to deal with all the goop and sickly, stuff under the carpet or in the basement or in the attic or in the kitchen drawer, the dumpster of your relationship. Nobody wants to deal with it. Everybody wants the sweet stuff, and they would just rather move on and leave the goop behind to be revealed and healed in another lifetime. Okay, so I'm trying to be lighthearted about this energy, Gemini, but in some ways I also see it very, very seriously. Be very, very aware of whatever it is that you're leaving behind and not being willing to deal with at this time. A light, sweet feeling for the beginning of the month, and something a little more challenging, more serious is going to go bang right in the middle and towards the end of the month. That Pisces Virgo eclipse, it's not an eclipse, excuse me, the full moon is right on some very hard angles in your chart. So please be aware. All right, let's have a look. What are you radiating? Okay, don't be sad, don't be depressed, don't do what a lot of people do, freak out. Please don't freak out. Please see this. I'm hoping you can please see this as the red engine light warning in your car. Think of yourself as a vehicle. Think of yourself as a living entity. Beep, 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 beep. What are you radiating? If you're radiating the Three of Swords here, my feeling is that it's like either consciously or unconsciously, but more, since this is very much more like three-dimensional, everyday kind of energy here, you might be aware that there's something either slightly out of whack or very seriously out of whack with your relationship. Some people would see that as a cheating card, or as a betrayal card, or as a triangulation card, like a threesome, an unwelcome threesome, things like that. A conflicted relationship where there's you, Gemini, and another, and then there's another party involved with you or with them or whatever. That can be very, very hard for people to handle. Some people have open marriages. Some people have swinger type relationship marriages, but a lot of people just like good old fashioned binary relationships, Gemini and the other and Gemini. So to me, this is like a warning sign. Please, please pay attention. If you sense in your mind, your body, your heart, and your soul, something is out of whack, not true, whether if you're being hoodwinked, hijacked, ambushed, betrayed, or anything like that, please take note of it, okay? And you might be actually already aware of it and sort of in the thick of it anyway, but like, don't go too over the top here. I don't see this as like the end of the world. I see it much more to do with what often happens in love and relationships as we intimate and separate. If there's something like threatening the relationship, if you are binding and they are binding, but there's an external influence, okay, that is putting pressure on the relationship, in some way, shape, or other, for you to either move on or for them to move on, and that's disturbing for you, then that needs to be acknowledged and understood. You can't bury that stuff, otherwise it rots and turns into mold and fungus and makes the relationship over here like putrefied, unstable. And then guess what happens? What does that ferment into? So you have to be aware of the dynamics of the relationship. It's not just about what can I get out of you, what are you trying to get out of me? Am I hot enough? Am I hot enough? Am I rich enough? Am I rich enough? Whatever. Over here, what are they radiating? Okay, the Two of Cups. So with the Two of Cups here, Gemini, I feel this is something to do with the Aquarian energy early in the month, where there is no harm intended here. You're dealing with someone who, in their own sweetness and own innocence, only wants love, only sees the loving option here. Now, how that translates, some people end up in relationships where it starts as one thing, like it starts as friends and then turns into lovers, and then marriage, or it starts as lovers and then that all falls apart and that turns into friendship and things like that. And sometimes things fall apart and there's bitterness and resentment. But I feel, Gemini, that you're dealing with someone who is, in their own way, has no ill intentions. All they are doing is being themselves in the simplest, purest way possible. And if that's not sitting well with you, Gemini, for whatever reason, for example, if you are the one who is, let's say, entertaining another party, I don't think that they're going to like get vicious about it with you. If they are entertaining another party and you're witnessing that and you're not happy about it, it might be completely innocent, okay? It might, because relationships do shift and change. Jupiter is in Sagittarius, your house of seventh house of relationship, profound one-on-one relationship, okay? So it's going to be expanding everything it touches there. So anything that's not working very well, it could feel like it's like a nightmare. Anything that's working nicely could feel just gorgeous. So if you're just dealing with one awkward, troubling, let's say, episode in the relationship, it might seem to be and feel a lot more worse than it actually is. And it might be triggering the energy of like, oh my God, I got to get out of here. I just need to like move on. I can't handle the emotional subcurrents. Okay. So I'm trying to lighten it up because so many people would be so scared of this card. I don't want to turn this into like a disaster story, end of the world, Armageddon thing. That's silly. Okay. So let's have a look deep down inside of you. Okay. The Death card here. So there is definitely profound change going on in some way, shape, or form or another. So I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to suggest that this is not going to become apparent more towards the middle of the month, around the time of the full moon, when the moon is in Virgo and the sun is brand newly over here in Pisces, okay, the 18th and 19th in that area, because it's a 0 degree full moon, so it's very like a vibrant energy, but it has almost no direction to it. So you might be coming into the full moon towards the middle of the month, like, and then, oh, wait a minute, kerblam, and then you realize deep down everything is changing, from the foundations of your life and how that impacts your presence in this world out on the world stage. And then your presence on the world stage and how that's impacting you at the foundations of your life. I see this as almost like a life-changing energy here, some way, shape, or form or another. And that can impact the relationship, or perhaps it is the relationship that is triggering this deep transformation, where you could feel as though the ground is being ripped out, carpets are being pulled out from under you, and you have no control over it. Okay? So you have to be aware of that, like tune into the deep undercurrents of what's happening in the relationship and reinterpret from there. You don't have to live just in the like he said, she said kind of environment. Over here, what are they radiating? Okay. Well, it's more cups, so it's really hard to, point fingers and blame the other person here. in any way, shape, or form, because I don't think there's any malice intended here. I think if there is something out of whack and it's changing, it's more to do with your own perception, your own behaviors, your own decisions, your own activities, and you are witnessing the outcome and the result as reflected back to you as we intimate and separate. We intimate and separate. And in the context of significant relations, we get the mirror. And the mirror is one of the most valuable components of relationship, you know? But a lot of times people don't like to see what they see reflected back to them because then they have to deal with it. Okay. So you might be dealing over here, Gemini, with a significant other who literally kind of doesn't, I don't know. It's like, I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what went wrong, how it went wrong, or why it went wrong. I'm just being me. I was loving and I am loved, and I know that we have that. But if things are shifting and profoundly changing and transforming some way, shape, or form, maybe like, are you leaving me? Are you moving home, moving residence? Is your career taking you away from me? Is your career so amazing that it's upsetting our home, our foundation? What's going on? And because I don't get it, you know, I thought we had something going, you know, pretty good here, but it's very obvious to me deep down that there's something missing. Or maybe I'm missing it and I didn't see it and it already came and went and disappeared before I ever understood. It's like, I don't mean any harm. I don't know what's going on or why. I apologize if there's something wrong. I don't mean to hurt you. I don't want you to hurt me. There's no point in any of that. It's not loving. So to me, it looks like a very lopsided reading here. You'll understand more if you check out the Astrodoodle reports, okay? Separate playlist. It's because of the huge agglomeration of planets in one side of the chart, put it that way. So let's have a look. What's happening down here, okay? Okay. Yeah, okay. So a lot of this feels like it's in the mind, and then it's coming out. You know, you have to be so conscious, like, of your deepest gut first feelings and how those lead to thoughts and how those lead to words, which lead often to deeds and outcomes and consequences, for better or worse. So that's why we have to be so consciously aware of our thoughts. What are we thinking? Because what might be happening here, what I'm seeing is that a lot of this relationship has been conducted on autopilot. In other words, very much a classic example of people relating like this, you know, zip, 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 and then not really understanding what's going on here. And then at Terra Lumination, we kind of open the lid of the crucible and go, whoa, oh, it's not quite what we thought it was, my dear. Gulp, what's happening here? So that's what I see is going on. It's like opening up the veil. We don't have that card here, but I think that's what's happening here. And what's happening is that the relationship is being exposed for all the flaws that exist in the relationship. It's almost like, you know, a sweet, well-intended couple stumbles along, stumbles accidentally into their own attic, their own basement, their own kitchen drawer, dumpster, department that they store all the goop of the relationship that they can't handle. And inadvertently, accidentally, somebody stood on it and opened up the door, and the big smell came out. It's just like, uh-oh, we are surrounded in goop. Okay? Well, it's more like, remember, this is not a couple's reading. I'm not trying to blame them for anything. I'm not trying to blame you for anything, but it is all about you, Gemini. So we have to take ownership here. So you might be in a situation where you're realizing deep down the relationship has a lot of problems, multiple problems that are becoming a problem. And it's becoming apparent that they're becoming a problem. And you might not be willing to deal with it because a lot of people don't like to deal with problems, especially in their relationships. They would rather just stuff it in the drawer and just hope that, you know, pizza night will cure it, or movie night, or maybe some passionate interludes, or, you know, recreational beverages and chemicals and things. But eventually you have to deal with what's with all the stuff that's going going down the tube here, and making it impossible to navigate a healthy, conducive, delicious relationship. So, okay. So it's in other words, Gemini, if you're really feeling like you want to split, get out of this, it looks like you're just set to run here. Either you're set to run out on this whole thing and abandon them, abandon this, or they have already like departed. Like, I'm sorry, it's almost like, yeah, it was great when we started, beautiful and sweet and loving, and I don't know what happened, and maybe we can be friends. A lot of people dread that in a relationship. It's like the most dreaded thing. Like, well, let's be friends, and then the other party goes, barf. No, I wanted this. I wanted that. Well, we can be friends. So that's what I feel is happening here a little bit. Let's have a look what's being fermented. Okay, definitely uh, doing your best. Now, the thing is, I don't want to hurt your feelings too much here, Gemini, but it, we all have to take responsibility for our role in the relationship, the decisions we've made, the actions that we've taken, and the outcomes that occur accordingly. So with the Nine of Wands here, my feeling is that it's you and the other party have to take ownership of what the nature of this thing is like here. And if it's basically a massive pile of, unresolved issues, and what's coming out of it is a stark realization that, wow, we made this, we own this for all the mess that it is. I have to own it. You have to own it. And then they say, like, I didn't mean it that way. And you're like, well, I'm going to blame it on terra illumination and the planets and the full moon or whatever. But it kind of doesn't matter where the blame lies. You end up having to own your whole thing. And then you realize, wow, I painted myself in a corner here. I, you know, I'm doing the best I can, and I will continue to do the best I can. Is that in the context of this relationship, or am I basically literally painted in a corner, and I'm just going to have to, you know, battle on, deal with this? Maybe this is all going to ferment and change into something else by the end of the month. Maybe it'll get worse. Maybe you'll get a lot of clarity and revelations and understanding around the full moon, and then you'll have a couple of weeks to figure out what do we do now. I see the month very much chopped in half for you guys, and then you're realizing, well, whoa, we got to do something here. What that constitutes, Gemini, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to tell you to cut and run. I'm not going to tell you to try and patch things up and make things up, whether it's their fault or your fault. But there's unquestionable, profound, irreversible changes at the foundations. And whatever's being cut away, moved away, uh, you know, that's almost like another terra illumination thing that we say here, like, dear angels, please bring to me that which is mine. Dear angels, please take away from me that which is not mine. So it is spoken, so it is done. But the question is, what is that thing that is being taken away? What is that thing being brought to you? It could be anything: a thought, a person, a realization, a circumstance, a debt, a promise, a whatever it is, something unpleasant, something good, whatever it is. So you can rewind that if you want to. But anyway, this looks like a shifting, much volatile, sort of accident prone here. Please be careful. Please be careful, okay, Gemini? Use that little terra illumination prayer for this month, okay? Please, my dear and only feet, I pray, carry me safely through the day. Thank you so much, Gemini. Please make the best of it. I don't mean to hurt your feelings or scare you, all right? Bye-bye.